This video is to demonstrate how to join a new square to the left hand side of an existing square. So you can see here the pink square was knitted first, and then the orange square has been knitted onto the pink square while it's being constructed. In this joining you have to pick up stitches from the point of the pink square down to the cast on edge and then cast on stitches. If you want your mitre to go in the same direction as the first square that you made. So I'll now demonstrate picking up the stitches to knit this second square. So again we've got one square already made. I'll use a contrast colour to make it easier. So we're going to start, if we want to join a square to the left hand side and make sure that the mitre goes in the same direction, we have to pick up stitches first, starting at the point of the square and working down towards the cast on edge. I'm going to pick up one stitch for every chain down this edge. So when we start right at the top here, we need this last little loop here. This stitch is one of the 11 chains. So I've put my right needle under that chain and I want to hold on to the yarn, and I'm holding the knitting in my left hand. What I'm not doing is trying to pick up stitches first and then knit them. So I'm taking the yarn that I'm going to knit with, put it round my right needle point, holding on to both ends, and pull a loop through. I can then place my right needle under the next chain, and I can also weave in the tail end from the first square and the new tail end at the same time as I pick up stitches down this edge. So I knit the next stitch, I then go under the next chain, and as you can see I'm going right through the fabric. Lift the two tails up over the right needle, take the yarn around, move them out of the way and pull the stitch through. Go through the next stitch and holding the yarns at the back, holding them down, knit the next stitch. Through the fabric, under the chain for the next stitch, lift my yarn tails up, take the knitting yarn around the point, move them out of the way and knit the stitch through. Go into the next stitch, holding the tails down at the back. So I will weave the yarn ends in for most of the length of this seam down to here, and then I should have one more stitch. So I should now have knitted up 11 stitches. 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So that's the first half of the square. I now need to cast on 11 stitches. And this is where some people get confused. You do now have to turn the knitting, place the needle in your left hand, and now I can cast on the next 11 stitches. So again it's the knit cast on, so into the last stitch we picked up and then cast on 11 stitches. So I now need to check that I have 22 stitches. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So I've got the 22 stitches I need to make this square, and I'm now ready to work row 2 of the pattern. So the pick up and cast on row is row 1, and I'm now going to work row 2, which is a wrong side row. Knit 1 through the back loop, and then knit to 1 stitch before the centre. If you're following a pattern, it will probably tell you how many stitches you need to knit. So I'm just coming up to the centre. So there would actually, I will have worked 10 stitches. 4, 6, 8. So that's my 10 stitches I've worked. These are the centre 2 stitches, and then I've got 10 more stitches up here. So I'm now going to knit 2 together to do my first decrease, which in this situation is a single decrease in order to then give me an odd number of stitches. And then I now knit to the last stitch in the row, bring the yarn forward between the needles, slip 1 purlwise. I've now completed the first 2 rows of the new square. The new square will be decreasing at this point, so that when it's completed, these stitches will actually lie up here. So if I bring over the previously knitted sample, as you can see, if I put the blue on top of the pink, the decrease point will be coming here, which will point in this direction, and these stitches will start to run in this direction once the square has been completed. That's joining to the left hand side of an existing square.